No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Has recording started?
I I don't know. It looks like
Who
it's
knows?
recording. Who knows? Okay, I don't even know what it's gonna look like, so let's do it this way. Constant presence. I don't know what it looks like though. I just see your face.
I don't
I'll
know.
expand it. I don't either. We'll see. I
Calibrate
guess we're
me.
just gonna do this. Okay,
Yeah.
so John, Jessica Miller here. How you doing? This is our third episode. We're starting 40 minutes late because apparently I don't know how to work blue jeans. And after the fourth attempt, when I thought everything would go fine, it didn't. So that's that. How are you?
And now there's like a 30-second delay.
No.
No, it's fine. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. I'm good. We just drove down the East Coast from Baltimore, Maryland, down to Charleston, South Carolina yesterday. So that was only about a 10-hour day in the RV. I'm back to sitting in my car because I have to drive to cell phone signal because RV life Wi-Fi isn't always that great.
Yeah.
But other than that, life is good. We're setting up our new home base in Charleston. So
Yay! So you guys are officially done with the road trips for now.
Yeah, well, maybe. The big road trip is over. We're already planning the next smaller trip. We're going to go out to Tennessee probably in a couple weeks.
Oh, that'll be
There's
fun.
some babies out there that we got to go see.
Awesome. Well, good. Is the delay really bad?
Is it what?
Is the delay really bad on this? I can't tell.
No, that was just me being deaf.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different. Okay.
Yeah. So we're this week we're talking about sports.
Yes, we are. So where do we want to start?
You're a sports nerd.
Sports. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes total sense. A sports nerd.
Yeah, you're a sports nerd.
I
a
like
jock geek.
Yeah. Got guns.
I made a muscle once.
A muscle of your brain. Yeah, so I've played sports my whole life. I was the son my dad never had. I'm sorry, Silas was very athletic as well, but I think that's one of the downsides of being the oldest is that you're expected to play all the sports if you have a dad that wants to play all the sports.
Well, didn't he used to say that he wanted to be able to have an entire baseball team?
Yeah, he used to. I think or basketball. He got kind of close to half a basketball team.
Yeah, but mom didn't play basketball.
No, not at all. Yeah, no, sports is a big part of my life. I grew up playing sports. Remember when we played baseball together that one year? That was awful. Do you remember the baseball team?
That was great. Yeah, that was pre-puberty for me. So that didn't hurt my confidence in life at all.
Oh, well, try having a bunch of parents question why there's a girl on the baseball team. That was fun. Like to my face as an 11-year-old.
None of us on the team questioned it.
Oh, not even remotely. In fact, Brad Green, he's still, every time I see him, which isn't all that often, he's like, yeah, remember when we played baseball together? I'm like, yeah, I remember. That was a rough year.
Who else was on that team? It was Brad Green, Lee Papa.
Chris Jernigan was on that team. David Freese. David Freese was on that team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The uniforms were yellow. That's all I remember.
No, those uniforms were white pants with the yellow tops.
With the yellow shirt. Yeah. They were yellow.
They were bad. I thought they were
all baseball pants in the 80s were white.
Yeah, they were.
Made white baseball pants in the 80s.
Yeah, well, they were not attractive for a girl that became 5'7", 160 at 12. So, it was not the best.
Well,
but
at 11, I was 4 foot and 80 pounds. So
yeah. Well, you had a different problem than I did. So no, sports is a big part of my life, and I'm grateful for it. Finished this book called The Confidence Code a couple months ago, and it's about like cultivating, one, why do females in general lack confidence when men can just kind of, they just assume that they're going to be successful, and women on the other hand kind of germinate about their failures and before they do anything. And they found that women who take leadership roles, like if they're on a board, if they're a CEO, if they're high up in government, whatever they're doing, there is a correlation between team sports and females' participation. So for females, it's important for that group setting to play sports as children, because I think it gives them that the need to feel that healthy sense of competition, right, in a safe environment. So I'm a fan of competition.
Well, it's interesting because testosterone is also known as the competitive hormone, right?
Yeah.
And not like competitive, like, oh yeah, it's like cooperative competition, right?
Yeah.
It's fun. It's an interesting little side fact. And since men genetically just have a higher ratio of testosterone, maybe they don't need that as much to generate that those sets of brain patterns. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You need. I think women probably need more nurture in that regard to get that experience set versus men just have those natural hormone levels that push them towards teamwork or like the team environments and competitiveness. And
like winning, right? Like whereas girls tend to come back from that and collaborate, right? Or not take credit, but like sports make you, well, you see it, you saw it with the female soccer team that just won the World Cup. Like they got so much crap for like over celebrating, and that's just bull crap. It's just females acting like men, and people are upset about it because they're not being humble and gracious in their win. Well, screw that. They're freaking the best soccer team in the world. They're better than our men's team. They can celebrate all they want, right? That's the way I feel.
I don't know. It's just, to me, that's not what sports was. Like, sports isn't about, like, gender roles. Sports is about, like, physical activity at this point.
Exercise.
But when we were growing up, it's totally weird, right? Because you were involved in sports, and that's what you wanted to do. And I was in sports. I played baseball, football, basketball. We did all those things, but I wanted to be in theater. I wanted to be acting. That's what I was really. That's what I really enjoyed. Because that's where I found the social interactions that I wanted. I didn't like the social interaction of competitive sports. I mean, that stuff was, sure, it was fun, but I didn't enjoy it nearly as much as I did my time in the theater.
Yeah, in the theater.
Which is weird, right? Right?
No, it's not.
I love gender roles. It's weird. But
I guess you're right. Like, especially in the 90s, like you should have been playing football, and I should have been in home ec, which wasn't going to happen in this lifetime. So.
Yeah, but I played football and I was in home ec.
Yeah, well, I did the same thing. That's the benefit of a small town, right? Like, I did theater with you. I was in Dracula with you. The best performance of Dracula in the history of Dracula. I'm just saying.
The bat that we made, that Bill Reed and I engineered to swoop down on the stage. That thing was amazing. A technical achievement.
Remember when Dracula and his bridesmaids missed their cue because they were on the roof?
Dude, yeah.
We were all frozen on the stage, like waiting, and you could see their shadows going across the windows.
It just added depth to the presentation. That's all.
It was real. It was in real time.
So, yeah, I think. Okay, so we kind of hit on what I was thinking about. We would talk about like sports as a kid, right? So we did. What I remember mostly is we did baseball, right?
Oh yeah,
we did baseball and softball. I remember wanting to play football, but that was too dangerous, so I didn't get to play football.
Oh, like midgets?
And later on in high school, I enjoyed football for a while, but I was I didn't have the experience I needed to really stick with it, and it wasn't as fun, and it started getting in the way of my acting. So I stuck with basketball and baseball because we grew up with out at the fields, right? So it was either church league or rec league, and we were either watching a basketball tournament or a baseball tournament or a softball tournament, and then it was just like a natural progression that we were going to do those things too.
Yeah. Well, it's more than that. It was dad and mom playing co-ed, it was dad playing, or we were with him while he was refereeing and umpiring. So we were around, especially basketball and baseball, all the time, like all the time. And so grew up as like just gym rats, basically. Like grew up at Nelson.
But I got really sick of it. I really did.
See, I loved it. But I like I can smell that time of year where it goes from winter to spring in the air, and I'm like, oh, it smells like baseball season. Like,
see,
I know the smell.
I totally understand that. We do that. Yeah. I do the same thing. Like last year? We're gonna give a shout out again. Last year, there I was in Japan. And, I was walking around. And walked into the building, and Deryk goes, "Hey, it's baseball season!" And we went and got our gloves, and we went outside, and we're playing catch.
I love that Deryk came up again. Deryk, that I don't think have I met Deryk? Did I meet Deryk in Japan? Okay, good.
He just got back from a deployment, and you missed him by like maybe a day.
So sad. I feel like we'd be best friends.
Yeah,
or not.
But it's like, yeah, you get along with Deryk. But you know, baseball and basketball and all the sports that we did as little kids were so defining for us. I think it was kind of natural for my personality to rebel against them later on.
No, absolutely. I'm not surprised that you were like, my kids aren't doing organized sports at all. Like, I was not surprised when you were like, it's not going to happen. Because we were very much, like, that's what we did.
But I was attracted to a different type of athletics, right? Like I wanted.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I wanted to do karate and jujitsu, and I wanted to be like out in the woods, trekking through the forest, playing war. And guess what? That's what I ended up doing as a grown up. So now, what do? I ruck march, which is a thing. Ruck marching is not hiking. It is totally different than hiking.
Wait, it's hiking with a backpack?
No.
That's
civilians hike with a backpack. The military ruck marches. Thank you.
And that's hiking with a backpack, right?
It's all about the speed. It's all about the speed and the intent. Anyway.
Well, this is what's funny, though, is that I grew up with organized sports, and I got all my physical activity through basketball and softball and volleyball and cheerleading, like all those group sports. But then when I became an adult, that all went away, right? It just went away from me. It wasn't available to me. And so, and now I hate running. Like individual sports are boring to me. And so I really have to force myself to find activities that I can do for exercise that aren't necessarily, that are okay. Like they're just tolerable, right? So because I can't play basketball anymore, it will kill my knees, but because I have killed my knees. But that was my physical activity. That's how I stayed in shape. So now I have to do things like go to the gym. That's awful.
Sorry. Did you see the bicycle?
I did.
There's a bicyclist riding around in circles around the park, and now Anna's walking up to the window. Let's say hi. Hi.
Working yet?
We're working.
Hi, Anna.
It didn't go live. We're just recording.
Yeah, we're just gonna post it later.
Bye. Are you coming back? Oh, the power went out in the RV park.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks. So
that sucks.
You never umpired, did you? Did you ever umpire a referee? Did you?
Umpired.
That was my first job.
Yeah, it was one of mine too. I umpired baseball when I was still in high school.
Yeah.
So it was really awkward when you showed up to umpire a varsity baseball game and you were a junior.
Yeah, right.
Like, what's this kid doing here? Like, didn't we just play against him last week?
Yep. Nope. I'm going to umpire your game.
Yeah.
That's a good moneymaker, though. We got like $15 a game. Remember that? That was so much money back then. That was so good.
That's good. That's good money in 1995.
Heck yeah. So
you can buy
that's what I did in college.
CD.
Get that single of Milli Vanilli, right? On the tape deck.
Yes. Full album.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm grateful for the sports experiences, but I haven't, like, I wanted my kids to naturally figure out like what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
I wanted them to love baseball, and neither of them, well, for Miles, when dad died, he was done with baseball, right? He wouldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
And Maisie's so into ballet that she doesn't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
Because she's
So Jeremiah, my kids are the same way. Like, I want them to just figure it out on their own a little bit, like free range homeschool kids. So Jeremiah was interested in baseball a couple of years ago, and he tried it out, and it just kind of wasn't his thing. And Megan, she likes the Irish dance, so
I love it too.
and
Yeah.
now she's so dedicated to her art and her writing that she goes on bike rides now when she needs to get out in the sunshine. And then Ellie's a swimmer. So
Yeah.
Jumbo does jujitsu. That's his thing. So
Yeah.
they each have their own thing. Our rule for the kids has always been, if you're interested in it and you want to try it out, you're going to commit to it and you're going to spend some time doing it.
Yeah.
So once they you can't just start and then drop out halfway through a season or something. You got to commit through the end of it.
I agree with you on that.
So that's what
like Miles signed up for rec league soccer this year. And then he came home 2 nights ago and was like, guess what? I joined the swim team. Well, no. I joined the swim team. We're like, you haven't had swim lessons since you were 7. You were a guppy. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to do swim. And so I pick him up 2 nights ago and I'm like, hey, Miles, how's it going? He's like, I'm basically drowning for 2 hours. He's like, they want me to swim with one hand. I'm like, what does that even mean? I don't understand. And then he says, you know, they just go from one side of the pool to the other, right? And I'm like, what did you think swimming was?
What do you think? It's just like jumping in the pool and getting out? Hey, send him out to South Carolina. I know some guys. We will take him out and we will do some swimming that will change his life.
Is it alligator related?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I have to keep him alive for 2 more years.
You can swim fast if there's a gator chasing you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's not going to happen. He can't die.
You don't need to have a gator chase you to swim fast, but it helps.
Nerd. That's so funny.
What about Jason?
Jason was an athlete.
What did the only child do?
The only child, actually, it's weird to me because, you know, mom and dad would close the shop. They'd be at all of our events, right? They would make an effort to get to anything we were doing. And they did that with Nate and Silas as well. Like, and I did that because that was just how I was raised. He played basketball. He did track. He did, typical small school stuff. Lots of athletics, lots of other things. His parents didn't go to anything. Like the first time they ever watched Jason play basketball was in an alumni tournament after we were married, and he went and played a year of college basketball before he hurt his ankle. So wow. He was legit. He's 6'5", right? He knows how to play basketball.
But if you're tall, you must be good at basketball. That's like
it's obvious.
Together,
I mean,
right?
you don't have to do anything if you're tall. They just throw the ball to you and you're like, meow, and that's it. So he had a different.
I think my job in basketball, I played forward, and Burnham just had me run into people all the time because I had sharp elbows and I didn't feel a lot of pain.
I remember watching you play one time and him literally grabbing you, and I could hear him say, "John, don't touch the ball. If the ball gets past you, you give it to Larry."
Yep. Well, Larry was our guy. He was good.
He was the guy.
So I was down for that. But I just got down and grappled on the blocks. That's what I did. So Anna did some sports in middle school, and then she was in the band. And turns out, band's hard work.
Yeah, I think so.
I didn't know that until I joined the Air Force and started marching a little bit. And I was like, damn, this is like, you do some marching for a little while out in the sun, and it gets a little tiring.
Yeah.
It's a little hot out there. Those instruments look awful heavy.
The tuba.
And then she was a drum major too. So, but and then I didn't know anything about how competitive the band was either. until
Oh
I
yeah.
moved to the South. And then, oh damn, like it's awesome down here.
Oh,
High
okay.
school
I'm
band is
getting that.
yeah.
I think I know what's going on. So I'm getting a message saying that our trial/practice event is ending in 10 minutes. So somehow I got this set up. That explains it. There's something going on. I probably need to like pay for the service.
Yeah. Well,
It's probably time.
let's just wrap it up then, and then we'll call this Sports 1.0, and we can come back to it later.
Yeah, we can always come back to it. So I think we covered a little
Because
bit of what we wanted to.
everything. I think I've talked about everything I was thinking about sports.
Yeah, and you know what? For me, like my sporting stuff, like that's just kind of weaved into the fabric of us growing up. Like sports is that it's just kind of happened, right? So, and it was how I put myself through college, and like I still like Duke basketball, like 1990s. Duke basketball is my life, which is weird to be stuck with the team in the 90s. But
Well, here's the other thing that I find very interesting about the difference between our lives now. Like my kids, they wouldn't have that same sports experience because they've moved every 2 to 3 years.
yeah,
So we grew up playing on the same teams or against the same kids over and over and over again. I was on baseball teams with Lee Papa my whole life.
yeah, me too. Rachel and Amy. Okay, we got to wrap it up.
Sorry. Yeah. No. So I mean, you run into those people you just had them around you all the time. And then like later on, as I'm watching like some of my friends, their kids play sports, especially military kids playing sports, and seeing how fast being on a team bonded those kids in addition to being military kids was really cool. It was really fun.
And that's cool. So yeah, so I think it'll be good. This was a quick one. Sorry it was so late. I'll figure this out. I will be a better moderator next time.
Well, to be fair, I've got to get stable so I could get a constant internet connection and get this figured out too, so I don't just broadcast from my car. Like maybe this is me. Maybe this is just me. I'm going to be broadcasting live from my car for the rest.
You should find a truck stop. It should start being truck stops. Hey, I'm at the truck stop.
Yeah, what's up? What's up right now? I'm sitting in the food court at the mall.
Funny. Okay, let's sign off. Let's do the normal. Like, if you like our stuff, this is our third video. We're trying to get better at it, but make sure you subscribe, you like, and you share. If you have a sibling, tag them so that they know that there's other siblings out there talking about the crazy relationships that we have with one another. And yeah, that's all I got.
And you could make it to your 40s and still be friends.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
What?
I'm not 40.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Because I'm the oldest son. True. So I'm 40 years old. So that must make you what, 30?
Ish.
Did we graduate to our 30s yet?
I'm an ambiguous age.
An ambiguous age. Okay. Yeah. Like, subscribe, share, send us messages. It's been fun talking to people on the side, but most of my friends don't interact online. They just send me messages like, hey, John, that was really cool. I appreciate you guys doing that.
I get that too. It's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll keep doing it. So, all right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Good. Keep me posted on everything that's going on in your new hometown.
Yeah,
okay. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.